Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by asking you a simple question. Are your emotions serving you or enslaving you? In life, emotions can either be a powerful tool for clarity or destructive force for chaos. Today, we're diving into the wisdom of the Stoics, who knew how to master the art of emotionlation. This is just philosophy. It's practical, actionable guidance you can use starting right now. And remember, as the Stoics believed, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Let's jump into 7 timeless lessons to control your emotions and build unshakable strength. Control what you can, accept what you can't. Life is full of unpredictability. From sudden changes in circumstances to the actions of others, we often find ourselves faced with situations. Our sense of control. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a powerful insight: focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. This simple yet profound principle, articulated by Marcus Aurelius when he wrote, "You have power over your mind. Not allies this, and you will find strength," serves as a guiding light in moments of uncertainty and stress. But what does this look like in practice, and how we truly master this mindset? Let's explore this concept deeply, unpacking its layers and understanding potential. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in the middle of a raging storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes at you, and the thunder roars at you. Have no power to stop the storm. You can't command the winds to be still or the clouds to disperse. Yet, what you can do is find shelter, secure yourself, and decide how you will endure the tempest. This analogy perfectly encapsulates the Stoic idea of control. While you cannot influence the storm, an external force, you have complete authority over how you prepare for it and respond to it. This understanding is liberating because it shifts your energy and focus away from futile struggles against the uncontrollable and directs it toward empowering actions within your grasp. The principle of focusing on what you control begins self-awareness. Often, we are unaware of how much mental energy we expend about things we cannot influence. We stew over a colleague's behavior, fret about the economy, or lose sleep over the opinions of others. In doing so, we surrender our peace to forces beyond our reach. A key practice in Stoicism is to pause and ask yourself, is this within my power? If the answer is no, the Stoics would advise you to release it. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or apathetic. Rather, it means redirecting your focus to areas where your efforts can make a difference. Consider the example of a job interview. You can't control how the interviewer feels that day, the number of other candidates, or even whether you'll get the job. What you control is your preparation. You can control how you present yourself, the effort you put into practicing, and your attitude during the interview. By channeling your energy into these controllable factors, you not only increase your chances of success, but of maintain your peace of mind, knowing you have done your best. This shift in focus from external outcomes to internal efforts is a hallmark of Stoic practice. Detaching from external outcomes doesn't mean you stop caring about them. Instead, it's about cultivating a mindset that recognizes the limits of your influence. This detachment brings freedom. For instance, when you've worked hard to deliver a project at work, you've triple-checked your work, met the deadline, and communicated effectively. Despite your best efforts, your manager criticizes the project for reasons beyond your control. In this scenario, frustration and disappointment may arise naturally, and you can remind yourself that your responsibility was to perform to the best of your ability. The manager's reaction, an external factor, is beyond your control. Accepting this truth allows you to move forward without unnecessary mental burden. Letting go of what you cannot control. Also, relationships. We often try to influence how others feel, think, or behave, believing we can steer their actions through perforce. However, people are autonomous beings with their own thoughts, emotions, and decisions. You cannot make someone love you, agree, or change for you. What you can do is communicate honestly, set healthy boundaries, and act with integrity. By respecting the autonomy of others, you free off from the frustration of unmet expectations. This creates space for healthier and more fulfilling connections. The Serenity Prayer, often recited in recovery programs, beautifully echoes this Stoic teaching. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom, what is within your power, and what is not, is a skill worth cultivating. This discernment isn't always easy. Sometimes we confuse what is within our control with what is not. For example, you might believe you can control someone's view by behaving in a certain way. While you can influence their perception, the ultimate judgment they make is theirs alone. Recognizing the boundary between influence and control is crucial. One way to strengthen this discernment is through the practice of journaling. Each evening, reflect on the day's events. Write down the situations that triggered emotional responses in you. Then, categorize them, what was within your control and what was not. Over time, this practice sharpens your ability to focus on the controllable and release the uncontrollable. It also provides a sense of clarity and relief. As you begin to see how much unnecessary stress you can let go of by simply reframing your perspective. It's important to note that focusing on what you can control doesn't mean ignoring external circumstances. Instead, it's about acknowledging their existence without allowing them to dictate your inner state. For example, global issues like climate change, political unrest, or economic downturns may feel overwhelming. While you cannot single-handedly solve these problems, you can contribute in meaningful ways, whether by reducing your carbon footprint, voting, or supporting causes you believe in. Your small but intentional actions, rooted in what you can control, collectively contribute to larger change. Adopting this mindset also helps you cultivate resilience. When you accept that setbacks and challenges are part of life, you stop resisting them and start adapting to them. The Stoics often use the metaphor of a dog tied to a moving cart. If the dog resists, it will be dragged along painfully. If it chooses to follow, it moves with ease. Life's events are the moving cart, and we are the dog. Resisting what we cannot change only adds to our suffering. Embracing it, however, allows us to flow with life's currents instead of fighting against them. In moments of hardship, this principle becomes especially powerful. Suppose you experience a personal loss, such as the end of a relationship or the death of a loved one. Grief is a natural and valid response, but the Stoics would remind you that your power lies in how you process and grow from that grief. You can choose to honor the memory of your loved one by living fully, or you can allow the loss to consume you. The choice is yours, and therein lies your control. One of the most profound aspects of this Stoic teaching is its universality. It applies to every facet of life, from mundane daily frustrations to life-altering challenges. When the train is late, you can't make it arrive on time, but you can use the waiting time to read a book or practice mindfulness. When a colleague behaves rudely, you can't change their attitude, but you can control your response and maintain your professionalism. These small moments of choosing control over chaos build a foundation of emotional strength. Ultimately, focusing on what you can control is an act of empowerment. It shifts your mindset from victimhood to agency. You become the captain of your ship, navigating through life's uncertainties with poise and purpose. The external world may remain unpredictable, but your inner world becomes a sanctuary of stability. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When you embrace this principle, every obstacle becomes an opportunity to practice resilience, wisdom, and grace. And that is a life well lived. Detach yourself from outcomes. In our journey through life, we are often driven by outcomes. We set goals, work tirelessly, and pour our energy into achieving specific results, believing that our happiness, satisfaction, and worth hinge on these accomplishments. While ambition and effort are vital, the Stoics remind us of an essential truth. Detachment from outcomes is the key to maintaining inner peace and emotional resilience. As Epictetus famously said, man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. Detachment does not mean apathy or lack of effort. It means giving your best without allowing external results to dictate your state of mind. This perspective is liberating and transformative, enabling us to face challenges with courage and equanimity. Imagine you are preparing for an important presentation at work. You've done your research, rehearsed thoroughly, and ensured every detail is in place. However, the response from your audience, whether it's applause or indifference, is beyond your control. You cannot guarantee how others will perceive your effort, but you can control your preparation, attitude, and delivery. This is the essence of detachment. Instead of obsessing over applause, focus on the pride of knowing you gave your best effort. By detaching from the outcome, you free yourself from the anxiety of external validation and remain rooted in your values and actions. One of the most profound aspects of detachment is its ability to protect us from emotional turbulence. When we attach our sense of self-worth to outcomes, we become vulnerable to disappointment, frustration, and self-doubt. For instance, think of a student who pours hours into studying for an exam. If their happiness depends entirely on getting a perfect score, any deviation from that expectation can shatter their confidence. However, if they approach the exam with the mindset that effort and learning matter more than the grade itself, they remain grounded regardless of the result. This shift in perspective doesn't diminish their ambition, it simply ensures that their inner peace is not held hostage by external circumstances. Detachment from outcomes also allows us to embrace uncertainty and navigate life's unpredictability. No matter how meticulously we plan, life often unfolds in unexpected ways. A promotion we worked for might go to someone else. A relationship we invested in might not last. Detachment helps us accept these twists and turns without losing our balance. It's about understanding that while we can influence outcomes, we cannot control them entirely. This distinction is critical. When we detach, we acknowledge that our responsibility lies in our efforts, not in the ultimate results. This mindset enables us to adapt and respond to life's challenges with grace and flexibility. Consider the example of a professional athlete. Every time they step onto the field, their goal is to win. They train rigorously, refine their skills, and give their all during the game. Yet they cannot control the outcome entirely. Factors like the performance of their teammates, the decisions of referees, and even the weather can influence the result. A detached athlete focuses on their preparation and performance, finding fulfillment in the process rather than solely in the victory. This approach not only enhances their mental resilience, but also allows them to learn and grow from both wins and losses. Detachment from outcomes does not mean abandoning ambition or goals. It means pursuing them with intention and effort while remaining unattached to specific results. This mindset can be particularly powerful in relationships. Often, we seek to control how others feel or respond to us. We believe that if we say or do the right things, we can ensure love, approval, or appreciation. But people are independent beings with their own thoughts, emotions, and choices. Detachment in relationships means showing up authentically, expressing your feelings honestly, and respecting the autonomy of others. It means loving without clinging and giving without expecting. This approach fosters deeper, healthier connections built on mutual respect and freedom. The practice of detachment also extends to material external achievements. In a consumer-driven society, it's easy to equate success with accumulation. We believe that acquiring a new car, a bigger house, or the latest gadget will bring lasting happiness. But as the Stoics remind us, true contentment comes from within. Detachment from outcomes means recognizing the importance of material things and finding joy in the present moment. It's about appreciating what you have without becoming enslaved by the desire for more. This doesn't mean renouncing all possessions, but rather cultivating a mindset where your happiness is not dependent on them. One of the challenges of detachment is overcoming the fear of failure. When we're attached to outcomes, the prospect of failure can be paralyzing. We fear judgment, rejection, and the loss of use. Detachment helps us reframe failure as a natural part of growth. It allows us to see setbacks not as definitive our worth, but as opportunities to learn and improve. When you detach from the fear of failure, you're more likely to take risks, explore new possibilities, and pursue your passions with courage. As Seneca wrote, "The bravest sight in the world is to see a great man struggling against adversity." The practicing detachment requires mindfulness and intentionality. It begins with self-awareness recognized when you overly attach to an outcome and consciously choosing to let go. This can be challenging, especially when you've invested significant time and energy into a goal. However, small daily practices can help cultivate detachment. For example, start your day by setting an intention to focus on rather than results. Reflect on what actions are within your control and commit to doing your best. At the end of the day, evaluate your efforts with judgment, acknowledging both your accomplishments and areas for growth. Another practical tool for fostering attachment is gratitude. By focusing on what you already have, you shift your attention away from what you lack or hope to achieve. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment, reminding you that fulfillment is not conjure outcomes. For instance, instead of fixating on getting a promotion, express gratitude for the skills and opportunities you've gained in your current role. This doesn't mean settling for mediocrity, but rather appreciating the journey while striving for growth. Meditation is another powerful practice for cultivating detachment. Through meditation, you learn to observe your thoughts and are becoming entangled in them. When you meditate, you develop the ability to step back from your desires and expectations, creating space for clarity and perspective. This practice you approach challenges a calm, focused mind, unclouded by the turbulence of attachment. Detachment is not a one-time achievement, but ongoing practice. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to let go of the illusion of control. Each time you release your attachment to an outcome, you strengthen your inner resilience and deepen your connection to the present moment. Over time, this practice becomes a source of profound freedom, and dutifully detaching from outcomes is about reclaiming your power. When you place your happiness and peace of mind in the external events, you give away your agency. Detachment allows you to take that power back. It reminds you that your worth is not defined by possessions or the approval of others. It's rooted in your character, values, and the effort you bring to each moment. By detaching from outcomes, you free yourself to live authentically, pursue your goals with courage, and embrace the unpredictability of life with grace. Practice negative visualization. Negative is one of the most intriguing and counterintuitive practices of Stoicism. At first glance, it may seem strange to dwell on potential misuse or imagine worst-case scenarios. However, this practice is not about pessimism or inviting negativity into your life. Instead, it is a powerful tool to foster resilience, gratitude, and a sense of control over your emotions. As CERN wisely observed, "He robs present ills of their power who has their tuning beforehand." By preparing your mind for adversity, you not only reduce the impact of unexpected challenges, but also deepen your appreciation for the blessings you currently enjoy. Imagine a traveler venturing into unknown terrain. They take the time to study maps, consider possible obstacles, and pack the necessary supplies. This preparation doesn't guarantee a smooth journey, but it ensures they are better equipped to handle difficulties along the way. Negative visualization functions in much the same way. It allows you to mentally map out challenges and develop strategies to navigate them, making life's inevitable hurdles less daunting. One of the most profound benefits of negative visualization is its ability to shift your perspective. When you actively imagine the loss of something you cherish, you awaken a renewed sense of gratitude for its presence in your life. For instance, picture losing a close friendship. Envision how life would feel without their supporter and companionship. This exercise may evoke discomfort, but it also heightens your appreciation for that person. The next time you see them, you might feel more inclined to express gratitude, cherish their presence, or resolve conflicts with greater patience. In a way, negative visualization transforms everyday interactions into meaningful experiences. Beyond fostering gratitude, negative visualization builds emotional resilience. Life is unpredictable, and even the best laid plans can be disruptive scene events. By imagining worst-case scenarios, you prepare your mind for the possibility of setbacks. This doesn't mean dwelling in fear or despair. Rather, it means rehearsing your response to adversity so that, when it arrives, you face it with composure and clarity. For example, consider a business owner who visualizes the potential failure of their venture. They imagine the financial loss, the disappointment, and the conversations they might have with employees and clients. This exercise might prompt them to create a content plan, build an emergency fund, or develop skills to pivot their business. When challenges arise, they are less likely to panic and more likely to adapt. Negative visualization also tempers excessive desires and helps you distinguish between needs and wants. In a consumer-driven world, it's easy to equate happiness with acquiring more possessions, more achievements, more recognition. However, imagining life without certain comforts or luxuries can reveal how little you truly need to thrive. For instance, visualize losing access to modern conveniences such as a car or a smartphone. While initially unsettling, this exercise can highlight your ability to remind you of the true sources of fulfillment in relationships, personal growth, and inner peace. By practicing negative visualization, you free yourself from the endless pursuit of external validation and cultivate contentment with what you already have. The practice of negative visualization is particularly effective in managing fear and anxiety. Often the unknown looms larger in our minds than the actual event. By confronting potential outcomes head-on, you have their power to paralyze you. Consider the example of public speaking, a common source of anxiety. If you visualize forgetting your lines, face a distracted audience, or encountering technical difficulties, you can mentally rehearse how to handle these situations. You might prepare note cards as a backup, develop techniques to engage the audience, or practice speaking without relying on visual aid. This proactive approach not only reduces anxiety but also boosts your confidence. To incorporate negative visualization into your daily life, start by setting aside a few minutes each day for reflection. Choose an aspect of your life that you value deals such as your health, your career, or a loved one. Then, imagine what life would be like without it. Allow yourself to feel the emotions that arise, the longing, the discomfort. Afterward, shift your focus to gratitude. Acknowledge how fortunate you are to have this aspect in your life and consider ways to nurture and protect it. This exercise doesn't need to be long or elaborate. Even a few minutes of mindful reflection can impact. Another way to practice negative visualization is by preparing for specific scenarios. For instance, if you're planning an important, think about what could go wrong: a late delivery, a last-minute cancellation, or inclement weather. By anticipating these possibilities, you can develop contingency plans and reduce the stress of unforeseen complications. This doesn't mean expecting everything to go wrong. Rather, it's about acknowledging potential challenges and taking proactive steps to address them. Negative visualization can also be applied to personal growth. Think about a goal you're pursuing and visualize potential obstacles: a lack of motivation, criticism from others, or initial failure. Instead of allowing these challenges to deter you, use them as opportunities to strengthen your resolve. For example, if you're training for a marathon, imagine hitting a plateau in your progress or facing an injury. How would you adapt your training plan? How would you stay motivated during recovery? This exercise not only prepares you for setbacks, but also reinforces your commitment to the goal. It's important to approach negative visualization with balance. The goal is not to dwell in negativity or become consumed by fear, but to use these exercises as a tool for growth and perspective. If you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, remind that the purpose of this practice is to build resilience and gratitude, not to predict doom. Over time, as you become more comfortable with the pace, you may find that your capacity to handle adversity grows and your appreciation for life's blessings deepens. One of the most powerful aspects of negative its ability to align your actions with your values. When you imagine the loss of something, you're reminded of its importance and inspired to prioritize it in your daily life. For instance, if you visualize losing your health, you might feel motivated to exercise regularly, eat nutritious foods, and schedule routine checkups. If you imagine losing a cherished relationship, you might be inspired to spend more quality time with that person, express your appreciation, or resolve lingering conflicts. In this way, negative visualization serves as a compass, guiding you toward a life of purpose and intention. Ultimately, the practice of negative visualization is about embracing the full spectrum of human experience. Life is a series of highs and lows, joys and sorrows, gains and losses. By preparing your mind for adversity, you become less reactive and more intentional. You learn to navigate challenges with grace and gratitude, finding strength in your ability to adapt and persevere. As Stoics teach us, the goal is not to avoid hardship, but to face it with courage and wisdom. Through negative visualization, you cultivate weather life's storms and the clarity to appreciate its calm moments. And in doing so, you unlock the profound truth that every moment, no matter how fleeting, is a gift worth cherishing. Embrace discomfort, and life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. This phrase captures the essence of a timeless truth embraced by the Stoics. Growth and strength come from willingly comfort. The ancient Stoics, including Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, believed that embracing discomfort was building resilience, self-discipline, and wisdom. They understood that avoiding pain and seeking leads to stagnation, while voluntarily engaging with challenge and unlocks potential. Imagine for a moment a seed planted in fertile soil. To grow, it must push through the darkness, penetrate the earth, and face the elements. It must endure wind, rain, and scorching sun. Without this struggle, the seed remains dormant, its potential unrealized. Human growth follows a similar pattern. When we deliberately step into discomfort, we activate our capacity to adapt, learn, and thrive. One of the most accessible ways to embrace discomfort is through physical challenges. The Stoics often advocated for voluntary homes, a means to fortify both body and mind. Seneca, for instance, recommended occasionally fasting or living as one were poor, not because he lacked resources, but to remind himself of his resilience. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" By experiencing discomfort voluntarily, you strip it of its power to intimidate you. It no longer looms an abstract fear, but becomes a something manageable and even empowering. Consider the practice of cold exposure, such as taking cold showers or plunging into icy water. While initially shocking and uncomfortable, this activity teaches you to control your breathing, calm your mind, and remain composed under stress. It is not just a physical exercise, but a mental one, reinforcing your ability to endure and adapt. Each time you step into the cold, you reaffirm your strength and willingness to face challenges head-on. Over time, these small acts of bravery build a foundation of resilience that spills over into other areas of your life. Another way to embrace discomfort is by emotional and mental challenges. This might mean having difficult conversations, facing fears, or tackling tasks you've been avoiding. For example, imagine a situation where you need to provide honest feedback to a friend or colleague. The discomfort of potential conflict might tempt you to remain silent, but by avoiding the conversation, you sacrifice authenticity and growth. When you choose to face the discomfort, your truth, you strengthen your courage and integrity. Even if the conversation is awkward or challenging, you emerge from it with greater clarity and confidence. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of reframing discomfort as an opportunity rather than a burden. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This can transform obstacles into stepping stones. For instance, if you're learning a new skill, the initial frustration of failure and slow progress feel discouraging. However, by reframing these challenges as necessary steps in the learning process, you begin to see them as valuable experiences rather than setbacks. Each mistake becomes a teacher, guiding you toward mastery. Incorporating discomfort into your daily life can begin with small, deliberate steps. Start by identifying areas where you tend to avoid challenges or seek comfort. Perhaps you avoid public speaking, shy away from difficult conversations, or resist physical exertion. Choose one of these areas and set a specific, achievable goal to confront it. For instance, if you fear public speaking, commit to speaking up in a small meeting or practicing a short presentation in front of friends. If you resist physical exertion, challenge yourself to complete a workout that pushes your limits. Each time you face discomfort, you build confidence and expand your comfort zone. Another way to embrace discomfort is by the growth mindset. Instead of viewing challenges as threats, see them as opportunities to learn and improve. When you encounter resistance or difficulty, remind yourself that growth lies on the other side of discomfort. This mindset shift transforms adversity into a catalyst for progress. For example, if you're struggling with a complex problem at work, approach it with curiosity and determination rather than frustration. Ask questions, seek input from others, and experiment with different solutions. Each step forward, no matter how small, reinforce your ability to navigate challenges effectively. Over time, the practice of embracing discomfort becomes a habit, shaping your character and outlook on life. You begin to see challenges not as obstacles to be feared, but as opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. This shift in perspective has a ripple effect, influencing every aspect of your life. When you're no longer afraid to face discomfort, you become more willing to take risks, pursue meaningful goals, and live authentically. You discover a sense of freedom that comes from knowing you can handle whatever life throws your way. Ultimately, embracing discomfort is an act of self-empowerment. It is a declaration that you are willing to face life's challenges head-on, no matter how daunting they may seem. By stepping outside your comfort zone, you unlock your potential, cultivate resilience, and deepen your appreciation for the richness of the human experience. As the Stoics remind us, the path to greatness is not paved with ease but with effort, courage, and a willingness to embrace the discomfort that shapes us into our best selves.